Hello and welcome to Kaleidoscope. My name is Trip Wrigley and I'm your host. And Kaleidoscope is going to be a show about art, and I will be interviewing several artists from different genre, from all over, from regional and from local. Today I have a special guest, Miss Dana Dodd. And right now, first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a local artist. I'm a local musician. I host several open mic nights from at Soho's Bar and here at the Vault, downtown Columbus. Also, I'm a writer for Playgrounds magazines. You can catch me. I do monthly articles called Welcome to My World in Playgrounds magazine. I've been a whitewater river guide. I've been a cave guide. I have traveled with the circus for over a year. I've been a bouncer. I've been a bodyguard. I've been a tree surgeon. I've done just about everything that you can do that there is out there to do. Nowadays, I've slowed down myself because of health reasons, and I do a lot of producing, and I am basically what a good friend of mine, Riley Yielding, calls as a musical cheerleader. So that's why I'm here today, folks, is just to give y'all an idea. We're going to start this show about art, and we're going to learn together. By no means do I claim to be an expert on art, but hopefully with these shows that we have coming up that we can learn together and find out a little bit more about art and learn about some of these local artists. Y'all hang back, come back here in about 5 minutes, and we'll get started with Dana Dodd. Thank you very much. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. My name is Trip Wrigley, and I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, Miss Dana Dodd. Hey, Dana.
Trip.
It's good to see you, darling.
Good to see you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm wonderful, and I hope you're doing well. Let's start off with, so where are you from, Dana? Where did you come from?
I was born and raised in LaGrange, Georgia, and that's about 45 miles north of here.
Right.
And yep.
And how'd you end up here?
Came to school. Initially it was Columbus College, now Columbus State University, where I got my degree in fine art.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Great. Well, I just want to go through a few questions that I'm interested in, and maybe other people are interested in also. But what exactly is the art that you do? What would you call your art?
I have developed my figurative art, which is the study of the human form, and that's really what I enjoy.
Right.
I love the subtle curves and shadows and shades and the shape of the human figure.
Right.
So that's what I really enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, what first, like when you were first growing up, like when you first started doodling, or what was your first inspiration? What really got you started in art, in your drawing?
You're just not going to believe this, but and I hope the viewers know that they probably do the little draw-me things that you would see in the magazine.
Oh yeah,
the little doves,
like the Fort Lauderdale school,
stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, in grammar school, I did a very good rendition of a deer, and they actually sent me back a letter saying that I should continue my education.
Really?
Well, yeah, because it was a come on for a university, and I'm in grammar school, and then I drew a lot in grammar school.
Right.
I drew cartoons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Popeye and stuff like that for other students.
Well, for me, I've been a musician half my life, and it's always been a kind of an escape for me. It was it so?
It was
for you?
It was. My mother would have to go looking for me,
right?
And because I would just be quiet, and she'd go looking for me, and she'd find me sitting there doodling, drawing, and and she was very open with it. She let me paint. She allowed me to experiment.
That was actually one of my next questions. So would you say your mother was your first influence?
Yeah, she totally supported me.
Really?
And my pictures were all over the walls in the refrigerator, and so
that's great. My mother used to hide my guitar. Well, that's great. So what do you use as inspiration? I mean, I've seen a lot of your art.
Yeah.
I mean, but what really inspires you to create?
I'm inspired by, I don't know, right now I want to bring back, I want to bring, joy to people with, a lot of times it's someone's grandchildren. They want pictures of they want real drawings of their grandchildren. And I enjoy doing that. So the pleasure of that.
Now, I've seen your art, and we will be showing some of it.
Okay.
But basically, you are taking your art, I'm not using the right word, but you're you're taking pictures, older pictures,
right,
and drawing
and bringing back to life, and sometimes they're old and sometimes they're new. They're newborns. And
is that what you mean by figurative art?
Yes, that is the study of the form and portrait and full form photographs.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. What do you have like a favorite artist? Do you have somebody that you've always admired as an artist?
I do, and the artists that I do enjoy are a lot looser than I am. And
what do you mean by looser?
When I say loose, I mean abstract.
Okay.
I'm very detailed.
Right.
And I find that people like that. They want their portraits to look just like the photograph or just like the person.
Well, I've seen like some of your work where like you have this one John Lennon piece that I love.
Yeah.
And it looks sketched, but it looks like the face is elongated.
Yeah.
And that's
the abstract loose stuff I like to do.
I got you.
Yeah.
I do too. I really love some of that stuff too. That's really good. That's really good. Well, portrait art has been around for millennia. You know, I mean, from the earliest kings, and of course only the richest people.
Right, we're commissioned to do.
Right, we're commissioned to do it. How, in your opinion, has that art form changed now? And with the technology that there is now?
Well, especially with the technology, you hit the nail on the head, Trip, because having software like Photoshop and Corel, I'm able to take those old photographs and able to bring out features that have faded and bring up the darks and sharpen them and bring out detail that has faded and some of it's been lost. So that's helped a lot. I still use some of Leonardo's techniques to get my composition correct, but I do use the modern technology.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Leonardo da Vinci was probably one of my, if not, probably my favorite artist, just because of his art and his inventions and just an unbelievable man. Could you imagine sitting in a room picking his ear for about 20 or 30 minutes?
I would love it.
I would love to pick his brain.
Yeah, I would.
But didn't you bring something that you were going to draw for us as we talk?
Yes, I have. I've brought a little thing that I'm doing of my father, and I do have a sample of the photograph that I've drawn it from.
Okay.
So I wanted to be able to show people this is how it goes. It's
now, this is some of what you're working on that I asked you to bring into the studio today. Do you want to explain to a little bit about what this is?
I do. This is
how you do this?
Okay, this is my father, and
now this was taken from a picture of your father.
And it was it's very old. It's about early 20s, and he was there on the beaches of Normandy, and I wanted to honor him and do a portrait of him. And when I did my layout initially, what I do is I draw a grid over my portrait so that my positioning is correct. And I wanted to make sure that I got the emblem. He was in the Navy, so I had that positioned, and the rest of it kind of works geometrically. I know his collar will go down this way, and I do have a sample of the picture. And then I'll work in the shading. His face will be modulated with shading. It'll come up and get lighter as the face, as the cheekbone rises. This will be my light spot, and this darkness will come up.
Is that charcoal?
Yes, this is charcoal. Yes, and this is the beginning of his headline. I've
seen the picture, and it's basically there was a picture of, if I'm not mistaken, your grandmother.
Yes.
And a few other people in the picture.
Yeah.
And what she had basically done was she had taken just the head of her grandfather from that picture to make this drawing.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can take one or two people out of a group of people and do just the portrait of them.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, let me ask. I want to get a little deep in here too with you.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will do that right when we get back from the break. We're going to take a quick short break. I'm here with my friend, Miss Dana Dodd, and we'll be back with more Kaleidoscope momentarily.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. Once again, my name is Trip Wrigley, and I'm here with my good friend and guest, Miss Dana Dodd.
Hi.
And we're talking about some of her art and her figurative art. This over here is a picture of her grandfather, and you can see the comparison. She took it off from a picture and drew it onto there. It's done with charcoals. She also does lots of other things that she does with Photoshop. She's done some incredible stuff. Do you like to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff you got going on right now?
Yeah.
Dana, what you're doing now?
I'm doing some abstract art at home right now on canvas, and I work in oils. I do enjoy oils and all the forgiving mediums, oils and acrylics, and
Don't you do some sculpting too?
Oh, I sculpt, and I've sold. I usually sell as the show's opening up. So my sculptures sell well, and as well as my oils and my drawings.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. What would you consider the best thing that you love about doing what you do? What's the best thing about it, in your opinion, to you personally? If I'm not getting a little too deep there.
Once I start a drawing trip, it's hard to stop.
Right.
I can walk across the room if my drawing's up on the easel and I have to touch it. It's just something that I get an immense pleasure from.
Right.
And a sculpture, it's in my hands. And I've been told that I sculpt even better than I draw because I'm able to fill the form, and I know where the deeps and the crevices are,
right,
and I'm able to recreate that.
Well, what is what's the worst thing about it, Dana? Is there, some people there might not be, but is there anything bad? There's got to be. I mean, for me as a musician, there's some things that can be pretty bad,
The only bad thing about art trip are the dry spells. There are times that you're just
finding
not real
a muse.
busy.
Finding a muse.
You're just
Yes,
not
I
real
understand
busy.
that. Totally. I understand.
So,
totally. Right.
And that happens occasionally.
Right. How do you know when, like for me, I bet the last song I think that I finished writing took me 10 years to write it, and I think I call it the 10-year song for that reason. How do you know when something's done? How do you know when you're like, okay, that's it, it's done?
Right. Well, I've had people come and look at my oils particularly.
Right.
And they have watched me paint. I usually do it by myself, but they have watched me, and they want me to stop. And they want it just like that. And,
but even when they do you feel that it's done a lot?
Not till I feel like it's done.
Right, exactly. I know what you mean.
And then it's done.
Right, right. And then but even for me, I mean, there are songs that I've written to this day that I play, and I just don't feel like they're done.
Right.
It's like, I think I need to add another verse here. I think I need
you always do.
Yeah, I mean,
as an artist, you always strive to do better. So.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. How do you feel when a piece is done? When you finally, if either someone's talked you into that it's done,
or I have decided,
or you've decided that it's done.
I'm very proud, Trip.
Right.
It's a real sense of accomplishment for me.
Is it hard to sell or give away these pieces once you've done them? Because to me, I'm sorry, but my music
I have given away so much of my work.
Right. Well, for me, it's a very private thing. It used to be. Before I let anybody hear any of my music or anything that I ever wrote, it's always been a very, very private thing to me. It's very rarely that I even shared any of my music with anybody.
Right.
And I cannot, to this day, I can't imagine selling or giving away any of my music. I can't imagine it. But I know for artists, it's got to be a little bit different for
It is. Well, I was very proud when the school itself, Columbus State, bought two of my very large drawings. They were figurative artwork. I had a Mikhail Baryshnikov, and they bought that one right after the show. And then I had another dancer, Isadora Duncan, that they bought. I love to draw dancers, so I've got several of those. I've even got one maybe that we've got to show today.
So I've been asked to donate also. I donated art to our sister city in Japan,
Right.
and that was a still life. I do still life. It was kiwi, and I had worked out in pastel, and it was very colorful, and saw it and framed it in a gold frame, and they were very happy to get it, and I was happy to do it.
That's great. That's great. What is your favorite piece of yours, personally? Or do you have a favorite?
I have a picture of my grandmother and grandfather, and I call it Love in the 1920s, and that's my favorite.
Wow, that's sweet. That's really cool. That's cool. What would your favorite piece be from another artist? Or do you have a
Yes, I do have some favorite artists.
I know it's rough.
Not many people have heard of this lady, but everyone's heard of Willem de Kooning. And his wife, Elaine de Kooning, did a lot of portraits. And they're very free and loose. And,
right.
you know, I hope to try to go there one day.
Right. So where do you see your art going, then? What is your future? What do you see where it's going? What would you like it to be?
Well, Trip, I have a studio now.
Right.
I've moved into a house that has allowed me some little room to work.
Right.
So what I want to do is make myself available for working on portraits and helping recreate maybe some of the old photographs that people have in a drawer that they want to share, you know, or, you know, someone's grandchildren. I have many people who have asked me to do their grandchildren.
Right.
And I've pretty much had a lot of success with word of mouth on that.
Right.
I do one, and they tell somebody else, and will you do mine? And that's a real good feeling, and that's happened many times.
Right.
Yeah.
Where I think I might have touched on this, but I might not have got the actual question across that I wanted. Is like, but what besides? I mean, where's your inspiration come from now? I mean, nowadays.
Yeah.
Like for me, I mean, I really have to be in a mood to pick up my guitar and to start playing and to start singing and stuff. But I mean, is there a certain mood that comes over you where you feel like for me, sometimes I'm like, I've got to play some music.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, is that a similar feeling when
I'm commissioned to do, when it is in a way, but when I'm commissioned to do a project, all I have to do is begin it. And that's easy to do. I've got a task.
Right.
You know, just like you've got a job to do, you go.
Right.
And
exactly.
Once I begin, Trip, like I said, it's really hard to stop.
Right.
Because I'm into it then.
Okay.
I can get lost in it.
Well, Dana, I thank you so much for being here and being here for my first show.
Okay.
And I love you
I
dearly.
love you too.
And thank you. And hopefully we
you.
can get you back here on the future.
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Okay.
I hope so too. And I want to thank everybody for viewing Kaleidoscope. And hopefully you shall see us again soon.
Yep.
Y'all have a good day. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.